He calls himself the Hanging Pro. He uses Twitter to target people who want to die, tells them he can help. Instead, he brutally violates, murders, and dismembers them, then holds on to their body parts like trophies. When police open the door to his apartment, they find a crime scene so gruesome, it stuns Japan. This is the case of Takahiro Shiraishi, the Twitter killer. I'm Chris. Thanks for joining us today. Let's recap. Between August and October 2017, Takahiro Shiraishi hunts for victims on Twitter. He uses at least 5 accounts, including one called Hanging Pro, to zero in on people posting about suicide. His profile sounds caring, almost compassionate. I want to help people who are really in pain. Please DM me anytime. Sometimes he tells his victims he'll end his own life along with them. He tweets things like, "If you can't help yourself, I can help you." But that's not what he plans at all. His first victim is a woman in a really dark place, and Takahiro tells her exactly what she wants to hear. He can help her end her life, but when she shows up to meet him, she's not alone. Her boyfriend comes with her. The 3 of them end up going out for drinks, and Takahiro keeps up this act, coming across as friendly and harmless. Now, later that night, he convinces her to come back to his apartment by herself, and she agrees. But once she's there, it all takes a horrifying turn. He rapes her, strangles her, then dismembers her body, and when the boyfriend comes looking for her, Takahiro kills him too, just to make sure he stays quiet. And that's how his killing spree begins. By mid-October, there are 7 more bodies in his apartment. 7 women between the ages of 15 and 26, all lured the same way, all of them robbed, raped, strangled to death, then dismembered. He later tells police the first body took him 3 days to take apart. Then, from the second person on, he could do it in a day. That's how cold and calculated he gets. There's no telling how many more lives he might be taking right now if it wasn't for one man, a brother who refused to give up. When his 23-year-old sister disappeared, everyone else was ready to believe she just ran off. But he knew better. He started digging through her Twitter messages, and what he found was chilling. She'd been messaging with the Hanging Pro. She wanted someone to die with her, so Takahiro tells her they can do it together at his apartment. Her brother reports all this to the police, and most importantly, he gives them Takahiro's Twitter handle. The cops move fast. They pull security footage and spot them walking together near train stations close to both her place and his. Then they decide to set a trap. So they track down another woman who'd been messaging Takahiro, and she agrees to help. She sets up a meeting with him at a train station, while officers keep watch. When she points him out, they follow him back to his apartment. The date is October 31st, 2017, Halloween. When police knock on his door, he answers, calm, unbothered. When they ask where the missing woman is, Takahiro shrugs. "I don't know." But the apartment is tiny, the U.S. equivalent of a little more than 100 square feet, what you'd call a micro apartment, smaller than a studio, which is important because it makes it very easy to see something strange. Her purse is sitting on a box in the back of the small space. They press him again, and this time he points to a cooler. "It's in there," he says. Inside 3 coolers and 5 storage boxes, police find 9 dismembered bodies, human heads, bones scraped clean. It's a horror show. It turns out Takahiro did his research. He searched online for how to mutilate bodies, then bought a saw and a meat cleaver to chop up his victims in his small bathroom. Some parts he dumped in the trash or recycling, others he kept as trophies. To cover the stench, he packed the remains in cat litter. But it didn't work. Neighbors say the smell was unforgettable. It was like sewage, they said, something they never smelled before. Still, no one reported it, and so he kept killing until the day the police came knocking. So who is Takahiro Shiraishi? At school, he was pretty average. He liked sports, he ran track, played baseball, and mostly kept to himself. He didn't stand out one way or the other. After high school, he worked at a supermarket, but after a couple of years, he quit and headed somewhere darker, Tokyo's red light district. He started working as a scout, luring young women into sex club work, and he crossed the line. In February 2017, he was arrested for recruiting a woman into prostitution. He got a suspended jail sentence, but his reputation was shot. People tweeted warnings about a creepy scout. One even posted his photo with a caption, "Watch out for this scout." By the summer of 2017, Takahiro told his father his life had no meaning. And then he went looking for others who felt the same way. And he killed them. Once the police had him, he confessed everything. He told them he found all his victims on Twitter, every single one. He went looking for people who were hurting because they were easier to manipulate and use. Once he fulfilled his sexual fantasies, he killed them. At trial, his defense team tried to argue this was murder with consent, that his victims wanted to die. But in a strange twist, Takahiro rejected their argument. He told the court flat out, these people didn't want to die when it came down to it. He killed them for his own gratification. It didn't take long for the court to decide his fate. In December 2020, Takahiro Shiraishi was found guilty on all counts. 9 murders, rape, dismemberment. The sentence? Death. And in June 2025, Japan carried out his execution by hanging. Japan is a country with one of the lowest crime rates in the world, but it also has one of the highest suicide rates. And that deadly mix is exactly what Takahiro Shiraishi preyed on. Something good came out of it, though. The case led to Twitter, or X as it's now called, imposing stricter rules against self-harm talk, and Japan's government added more phone and online support for people in that headspace. Do you think those extra protections are enough to save people from a killer like this? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you like getting all the crime in half the time, remember to give this a like and subscribe so you never miss a recap. I'm Chris. Amy and I are here 3 times a week with new stories. Until next time, take care.